WWE released a Cactus Jack collab this WrestleMania weekend. And I will say this is probably the best thing we've gotten out of this little crossover that we've been seeing, is this little collab that they dropped. And I guess I'll just go first before either of you have a chance to ruin. I guess give your honest input. I'm impressed by this collab, man. I think this is all gives very like a look into what the vintage shirts, which have kind of like rised in the market. I think it has that same feel. You have a lot of just old school t-shirts. So there's a Steve Austin shirt, there's a CM Punk shirt, there's DX, like a DX reference, there's a Rock shirt, there's a Cactus Jack Mick Foley like zip up hoodie, which I think I was like, okay, great, because for those who don't know, Mick Foley, WWE legend, one of his characters was Cactus Jack. So I was always like, I was wondering if they would do something involving Foley, and they did, and it's the most expensive item on the shop right now, going for $170 for a zip up hoodie. But
you're wrong about that. You see the belt?
I know. Oh, you're right. You see, I naturally overlooked that. Yeah, there's a Hardcore Championship replica belt going for $1,200, which I think is insane. But I will say, the last thing I will say is that I love the details that they've included with like including the old WWE logo, like the non, I guess you could say like the Ruthless Aggression logo. I was impressed to see that make an appearance as well. And there's also a John Cena football jersey, which I'm personally not a fan of, but people on social media have been going crazy over it. Those who know Cena know that he used to come out in football jerseys during the beginning of his like run as like a top wrestler, as like someone who was in the title picture. So this is definitely like an homage to his shift over into the babyface, I guess you could say, a route back in like the mid 2000s. But I've done enough yapping. What do y'all think of this collab?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty run of the mill for Travis. With his, ever since he dropped Utopia, I feel like any merch he's done, whether for himself, for his tour, for a collab, has had this similar kind of vintage, grimy design aesthetic, very grunge. And there are a couple pieces I like. I don't know the references, but they all kind of fit the Cactus Jack thing. But that belt, dude, I mean, that might be the biggest scam I've seen in my life. Forget the price tag for a second. Actually, no, $1,200. You would think, all right, $1,200, like, damn, it must have some stones in it, like maybe some silver, some gold. Nah, bro, they use acrylic and rhinestones and some zinc alloy. Oh, wait, for $1,200? You could buy yourself like gold jewelry. You could buy yourself so much. Why would you buy a belt made of crap materials that you're not gonna wear, that you're probably gonna stick in a closet or have on a shelf? That is crazy to me. That is insulting. That got me pissed. Everything else, like I said, kind of run of the mill. I like the hats. I think like the last hat I like the most, the one that says WrestleMania on it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. As a Travis fan, I think a lot of the fan base is kind of at a point of like, all right, we think there's going to be a new album. Like, we want to see something new, like aesthetically. I'm ready for that, because he's been doing this for a bit. And even part of Cactus Jack, Don Toliver, his last album had a kind of similar aesthetic as well. So I'm just kind of tired of it at this point. But as a collab with WWE and how he's also been, integrated into, WrestleMania and everything, and making appearances, and Fiend has become such a thing now, I feel like, that it's cool that it's so intertwined, which is something he's always been good at.
Could you give me a shirt or two that you were a fan of?
For t-shirts, I think I like the No Bystanders tee the most. You know, it's a little edgy. I like the colors. I like the back graphic the most on that one. And then I know you were talking a bit about the football jersey. I actually like that just as much. I think just the colors on that and the little details on it are cool. That price tag is a little steep, I might say, but you know, that's what they do with these collabs. So
I agree. What's the No Bystanders shirt? I'm looking for it.
It's at the very top.
Stone Cold one.
For Stone Cold, Steve Austin.
Stone Cold one. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yes, it does say No Bystanders. Gotcha. Cool. How about you, Dre?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. And I think I agree with what both of you said from both perspectives. Like, I do think it's not too out of the ballpark of what Travis has done for previous stuff. Even if I'm not the most tapped in, I can see this at a glance and even tell it's kind of his recent aesthetic, or maybe just aesthetic in general. But I also do think, just coming from the WWE perspective and someone who's not going to go buy like general Travis Scott merch or Travis Scott album or tour merch, having something intersecting with something that I'm interested in, I can appreciate that. Whereas, like, even if I'm not going to buy anything because I'm not trying to spend $55 for one of these tees, or much less $130 for a jersey, but I do like if someone somehow went on sale, I might see myself copping the Brahma Bowl, even if it looks goofy on the back. But you know, just because I'm a Rock fan or a CM Punk fan with the straight edge, or like you said, the No Bystanders, even the DX, I just like the black and that shade of green. But just because I'm fans of those wrestlers. So seeing the one of the Triple H one, you know, I'm not a big fan of, but the rest of them, I can see something there. If anyone buys this goddamn Meet the Rage, Travis half face looking like you think he's actually a villain toward the bottom, what the hell is that, bro? I'm not gonna lie.
That one is crap. That one is
goofy,
crap.
bro. That's goofy. But some of the other ones I actually really appreciate, especially like you said, the Cactus Jack.
That bad.
You said what?
I don't think that one's that bad.
I think it wouldn't be that bad if
Want
he
to
was
be
an actual
Darth Vader, Darth Maul looking ass. Like,
if he was an actual wrestler, that's one thing.
It gives the vintage feel. It's like, you know,
the
like
vintage feel. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? The vintage.
Compared to the other ones,
It's half his face.
I'm just saying, like, you know how like I said, the vintage style of like the big
all the
graphics.
vintage style.
Yeah, no, yes, but I think this one gives off that vibe more than others. Like, not the most, but it's up there. Like, I think this, if you're going for that,
But that doesn't make it good, I don't think.
It's not enough. I think because he's not a wrestler, it just looks goofy. Because knowing, like, if it was an actual wrestler with this design is different. But no, this is Travis trying to look hard like he doesn't when he comes out for WWE, but knowing he just got cooked by Cody by one move, like, it just doesn't hit in terms of like his character on the show, if that even makes sense. But I can see, you know, I don't know, if you're glazing, maybe you like that. But like you said, I did you dirty, I'm sorry. But the double Cactus Jack full zip, like you mentioned, I actually really like that in terms of just the history with Foley being Cactus Jack. I think that's really cool. And I actually made the connection maybe like 10 years ago whenever Travis first started the whole Cactus Jack thing. I remember when he first came out with that, it rang a bell. I was like, oh, Cactus Jack, like, that's okay, that's Mick Foley. That's kind of weird, it's kind of random. But I never actually wondered, like, was he a wrestling fan? Is he calling it Cactus Jack because of Mick Foley, or is just something he happened to happen? But now that he's actually involved with the WWE, I feel like he must have actually been a fan, like a long-term fan, for him to have the Cactus Jack brand and this all to come full circle. Like, I feel like that's too weird to be a coincidence, if that makes sense.
100%. I'm also wondering why Foley never trademarked it, but that's neither here.
Yeah, that too. Low key, give Foley a bag, bro. Low key, low key. There should be a bag on that.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I will say my favorite piece is the straight edge shirt. I just think just looks hard, man. I looks great. might actually have to purchase it, but we'll give it some time. I don't know. I don't know. I've always punk is cool. So a little punk. I guess like to see the fact that like it's not like his other shirts. I feel like he's dropped pretty corny merch. This is like not as corny, or like this is a non-corny, I think, CM Punk t-shirt. So I think that says a lot. But yeah,
it's way more subtle. It's definitely 100%. Way more subtle, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
No, I was gonna say a similar thing. Like that's the key with these kind of things. Like you can't be too in your face, and I feel like this one you can get away with, like if you know type shirt, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than a Reese's Puff or Fortnite t-shirt, like or McDonald's. That was a crazy one. That was crazy.
So funny. I really want to know who spent money on that, because the
amount of merch from that collab I've seen at the thrift shop is crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Remember how much the Astroworld merch was milked too?
I mean, that's when he really blew up, I think.
Yeah.
With the merch.
That was like coming out for a whole year. Like it was like you had like a whole year worth of merch.